Hi, welcome. I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy to be here. I encourage you, if you're not already relaxed, to just let go, relax. And listen to me talk about some bullshit for a bit. It's hard to say anything sometimes because every word gives rise to a paradox and a contradiction, and sometimes it just all cancels itself out, and you have nothing to say because there is nothing. Hi, Nicola. In case you missed it, Nicola, I'm going to be talking some bullshit today. um, there are just so many concepts about everything in life, whether it's a spiritual journey or any journey that we take. It's just concepts, ideas, expectations, goals. Hi, Jay. So I'm getting worked up. New people coming. It's exciting. Um, relax, relax. Ecstatic relaxation. Yeah, I was lucky enough when I first started um, into this sort of spiritual realm of things. Um, I didn't know anything about it. Um, all I knew is that I had to change my life. There's something deep inside of me, um, sort of calling me to drop everything I was doing just to find who I was, to reconnect with some deeper level of myself. And after a month of what I considered doing nothing, um, my my awareness, my consciousness sort of began to refine itself from being completely distracted, completely on the surface, scrambling to find some sense of lasting peace or happiness. It began to refine, and as it did that, it was like accessing deeper levels of awareness. And none of these things are new to us. We all have access to these places at all times. Just most of these elements of our existence are so subtle that they get drowned out by the loudness and the abrasive nature of the surface that we so often live on. But all we have to do is stop and sit still and be quiet. And consciousness itself will begin to refine. It's no conscious effort of ours. And we can feel everything. When somebody walks into the room, you can feel their presence as if the space in the room is a liquid. And as soon as something enters, you can feel the liquid being displaced, the density of it. It's as if you're tuned into a different level of connection with everything. You can feel people's emotions. You can feel their desires. You can feel your own humanhood acting on its own. And the more subtle your awareness becomes, the more sensitive you are to every single sense. And you may come to a point where consciousness is so refined that it feels pure. Feels like it's all one element. Distilled completely. And you can feel everything happening within consciousness. It's an indescribable feeling. Like you are the universe, and the universe is you. And from some perspective, some people may call this a practice. They may call it an effort. Just because it looks like a practice, it sounds like a practice. Practice means nothing. The word itself, when I didn't know what spirituality was, and I sat on my bed every day because I was afraid that if I got off my bed, I would succumb to my addictions. So I pretty much spent about 30 days rarely leaving my bed, just sitting. That sounds like practice. Maybe it sounds like meditation to some people. Maybe it sounds like willpower, dedication. I didn't know what any of those things meant. I didn't know what spiritual practice was. The word practice didn't exist or occur to me once during that period of time. To me, it was essential. It felt like life or death to do that. It felt like my whole universe was being sucked into itself. I had to do that. I had to sit there. And I wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted to know who I was. I just wanted to come home. And something deep inside of me told me that I had to stop doing everything I was doing. Because everything I was doing was taking me away from who I was. All of my actions were out of ignorance. But consciousness itself, if you don't poke it and shake it and shove it and push it and try to manipulate it, its natural state is to become subtle and refine itself. You don't have to do anything. You just have to stop doing things. Stop shaking up consciousness. Stop cooking it. Stop eating it. Stop. just just let it be. And call it whatever you want. But know that your name for anything that you're doing or anything that is happening is total bullshit. You could tell me I was practicing. If that's the way you see it, that's the way you see it. You could give me the definition of practice and tell me that what I was doing is the definition of practice. But the definition means nothing to me because the word never occurred. There was no goal in mind. There was none of that. It unfolded as a necessity from deep inside of me. And I don't know what brought it on. I don't know why I chose to do that, having no idea what I was doing. And I don't know why I held so strongly to it when all it did, all it felt like it was doing was destroying me. But I truly felt like I couldn't live unless I knew. I couldn't live the way I was living unless I knew who I was. And it turns out I'm nobody. But I see myself in everyone, everything. What's the limit? The limit doesn't exist. You could say you have a limit. You could say you're confined to a body. You could say I am too. But the limit rarely occurs to me. We put the limit on ourselves. We put the limit on other people. It doesn't exist. These are words. These are ideas. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Call bullshit on yourself. You could say, I did this yesterday and that was bad. I shouldn't have done that. It, you've made that. You said it was bad. Who defined it? It is what it is. And that's it. It's consciousness itself, this life, this world, is just going to keep playing around, and it's going to keep doing its thing. There's no need to define it. There's no need to judge it. And most specifically, there's no need to identify with any specific part of it permanently. If you want to identify as a Manchester City fan or something, that's fine. That can be fun, I guess. But it's not a permanent part of who you are. Your culture, your race, your gender. We put the limits on ourselves. So if you're here thinking that you got to do something that Ramana did, or you got to do something that Gandhi did or Buddha did, you have to have the goal of saving all humanity or ending all suffering. That's not your way. That's their way. That was their thing. That was their deep, deep heart's desire. Your heart's desire will appear on its own, and it will pull you where you need to go. Do you think you have a better compass? You don't. You don't know anything. And I love you for it. Stop navigating. You will be pulled to do what you must. You know the feeling. There's something in you that has been tugging you your whole life. And sometimes we put a lot of garbage on that feeling until we can't feel it anymore because maybe we don't like the direction it's tugging us in. But that's your way. That's your lighthouse in the dark storm. Only you know what is a distraction to you. And only you know what that true calling is in your heart. I can't tell you what to practice, what to do, how to do it, how to get somewhere, how to be someone, how to do something. I don't know. I don't know how I'm here. I don't even know where I am. No matter what level of awareness, what depth of awareness you have, or what depth of awareness you think you have, whether you know it or not, you are aware of things that your conscious mind doesn't quite recognize. We are all aware of body language and tone of voice. Very, very subtle things. And this is the beauty of relaxation, because it's such a simple word, but it means so much. Just relax, relax your body. When our mind tries to be something else, it brings tension to our body. But your body is what it is. If you relax into it, it's much more comfortable. And whatever comes up, welcome it, embrace it. That's part of you. That's part of you. And you can judge it and say, I don't like that part. That part shouldn't be there. That's a weird part. That's an ugly part. But you're just blocking yourself when you do that. You can't change the part of yourself. You can't change anything. You can't change anything about this life, this consciousness. Just let yourself relax, relieve yourself of the endless duty, the endless job of trying to be something that you're not, trying to find something that isn't you. So let it all go and feel yourself glowing, emanating, shining so bright. Because there is nothing that arises, whether it's within you or within someone else. There is no situation, no person that you do not have an unconditional feeling of love for. It's all a part of you. It's all okay. Let it be. And don't beat yourself up if you judge it. The judgment is a natural thing too. You think you're the one judging? This is the paradox. Paradox of words and concepts. Just let consciousness do what it does. Don't take responsibility for anything happening, but also you are completely accountable for everything that happens. I can't tell you anything. You're just going to take it the wrong way. So, I mean, what am I going to do here? What am I saying? I have to contradict everything I say. And then you're going to say, now you're not making any sense. You're wasting all your time contradicting the last thing you just said. Yeah, well, that's what it's all about. Sometimes it's a great joy to erupt and express something and feel totally sure of it, undoubtable, incredible proclamation of whatever it is. And then a moment later, you could totally disagree with what you just said or completely contradict it. And once again, to somebody else, some perspective might say, you contradicted yourself. But to you, there's absolutely no contradiction. There's no contradiction in terms, no contradiction in meaning. Everything we're saying is the exact same thing, which is bullshit. I love this game. It goes round and round. And it gets dizzying sometimes if you try to focus on something. You know, when you're spinning around really quickly, the best thing to do is soften your focus and just watch the spin, watch the spinning. If you try to focus on a specific object, it's going to just disappear 1 second later when your whole body turns around. We're all spinning. And you can learn to love it, or you can think that you're doing it wrong. Or you can do 10 trillion other things. But the basic thing is that it's all happening on its own. It's all happening on its own. Your perspective is based on the fact that you have taken ownership of anything and you're judging things. You're it. You're that. You're this, that, the other thing. You think you're on a journey? Perfect. You think you're there? Perfect. You arrogant jerk. You think you're not there? Have some faith. And so on and so forth. It's perfect. It's all perfect. So let it be or don't. But do know one thing that I will say with complete conviction. Do know that I love you. I love you. And don't get on me about me not being a person and you not being a person and love love not existing or something. That's bullshit. I love you. I am Stevie Ray Curly Scott, and I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you, Stevie.